Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day everyone. This is the chapter 6 which is learners with difficulty seeing. So the first one is definition. Student in the classroom will exhibit a different levels of charity of eyesight or visual acuity. There may be some student with hampered or restricted vision. Learners with difficulty seeing are those with issues regarding sites that interfere with academics. The definition from individuals with the disabilities education or IDEA state that an impairment impairment in vision that even with correction adversely affects a child's educational performance, which includes both partial sight and blindness. This student may have may need to have their eyesight corrected by wearing glasses or their partial or their optical devices. So when we are blind or when we are difficulty seeing is that we need to wearing eyeglass to overcome what is the topic that we have. So the question is, what effects of visual impairment to student or learners? The visual impairment can interfere with the development of learning, social growth, and adjustment. So how we can teach a blind or visual impaired? So the first one is explain any visual. For example, when we are teaching a student with visual impaired, it is important to clear explain all visual materials. So you should also get an in you should also get in the habit of dictating what you are writing on the chalkboard or whiteboard. The second one is always give oral instructions and take note. You do not provide your student with a hands out that contain assignment structures. Student with visual impairment in your class may have difficulty seeing the words and the learning what is expected. Instead, you should always give oral instructions for every assignment and activities. So the second one is identification. Learners with difficulty seeing often have physical signs such as crossed eyes, squinting, and eyes that turn outwards. They may also be clumsy, usually bumping into objects which causes them to fall down. So meaning to say is that we can identify the disability of the person that have the cross eyes, which is their eyes is crosses into the eyes, though, and also the squinting, which is their eyes which is smaller or lumiliit yung kanilang mga mata. And then the clumsy, usually the clumsy is parang yung madali siyang madapa sa kung ano yung kung saan na siya nadadapa. We can identify the person disabilities that difficulty seeing when they're clumsy. So learners with difficulty seeing may also show poor eye-hand coordination rather. This can be seen in their handwriting or poor performance in sporting activities. So another identification of the difficulty seeing person is that when they can perform the sports activity like the volleyball, basketball, and also the baseball, we can join or we can perform the activities just because we have the difficulty seeing. So another identification is poor academic performance, as this student might have difficult reading as well as writing. So we can identify another identification or identify the person that have difficult seeing is that when he or she difficult to write or difficult to um, written. So, last one is learning characteristic. A good visual activity is a critical in learning. Most school lessons are done through blackboard writings and presentations or hangs out. In most major subjects, visual impairments, whether mild, moderate, or severe, affects the student ability to participate in normal classroom activities. In the past, students who are visually impaired are placed in this special institution. Nowadays, most are enrolled with other children who are not visually impaired. Learners with difficulty using have restricted ways to learn incidentally from their surroundings, since most of them learn through visual clues. Because of this, the other senses are used to acquire knowledge. Due to the limited ability to explore the environment, low motivations to discover is present. So the learners must be needed to communicate with other people because of the communicate with other people, they can learn more and they can learn a lot from the surrounding. So visual activity of the student should be also considered in the learning characteristics, especially nowadays. Learning written in blackboards or etc., when one of your student is far-sighted or nearsighted, it's hard for him or for her to acquire learning because of visual impaired they encountered. It will affect the learners to participate in every activities that the teachers had. So that is for today. That is my task for this activity. So the the next reporters is present by Amir Kusain. So let's proceed to Amir Kusain. Thank you and God bless.